All right, first of all, how many guys have actually heard of Wrestling Mindset? Just raise your hand. Or has anybody not heard of Wrestling Mindset? How about that? Even better. Okay. Pretty big company that throws content out daily about how to train the mental part of sport, really. But we started as a wrestling company. I just recently got back from the Super 32s. Did anybody have a chance to compete? Or I see the Super 32 shirt. Awesome. How'd you do?
Messed up in my second match, but
Did okay? Good. It's one of the toughest tournaments, especially preseason tournaments in the country. It's right here in North Carolina, so if you ever got an opportunity to do that, I would highly recommend checking out the Super 32s. I was excited about the opportunity to represent Wrestling Mindset, so we could spread the word. A lot of us, it was probably split in here. Half of you heard of us, half of you hadn't. But it was kind of just getting us out there a little bit more. I think on Instagram we got over like 50,000 followers or something like that. So if you haven't given us a follow, make sure you do that today. But today I want to come in and talk about one of our key talking points. It's one of the things that one of the lessons we talk about often. We're not motivational speakers. How many people in here have heard a great motivational speaker before? Coach Stewart, see if you get you riled up. Yeah. Well, the thing about motivational speaking is it's kind of temporary. It doesn't stick with you forever. And it gets you pumped up for just a short period of time, and it's not going to stick. Another thing that we're not is psychologists. You know what a psychologist is? Yeah, so we want to hear your problems, we want to hear your thoughts, but we're not sitting on a couch and kind of figuring out your life's mysteries. We're very specific at Wrestling Mindset. We got one mission statement. That's to make you a better wrestler, a better person, and a better student. So you got three things. And we do it in all sports, but again, wrestling is kind of our bread and butter. Right now, I want you to take about 20 seconds with the group around you. And if somebody can get the question I'm about to answer right, I'm gonna give you a shout out on Instagram tonight. Again, 50,000 followers, we kind of see it, we get a picture or whatnot. We talk about predators a lot. You know there's some big bad predators in this world, right? I want you to take about 20 seconds with your partner around you. Name the biggest, baddest predator that you can think of, and then when we come back, I'm only going to take 3 answers. So if your group gets it right, then I'll give you a shout out on Instagram tonight. So 30 seconds, 20 seconds, go. I've got the answer written in my pocket.
Wait, how many people in group 4?
Biggest predator that you can think of.
Lander.
Biggest predator you can think of. I'm not going to get too specific.
Are we talking about biggest or strongest?
Biggest, baddest, most intimidating, just the biggest, best predator out there. Got about 10 seconds. You got the answer, Coach?
I don't know. I think I do.
You think you know? You probably know that.
I think I know.
Easy.
All right, we got a couple groups of 3 answers. Did y'all have a good answer?
I'm gonna tell Coach just in case I don't know.
You guys have a good answer? Have you talked about it?
Wait, we get 3 answers, right?
Now you get 1 from this group.
No.
All right, this guy's ready, but he's not a current wrestler, is he?
No.
He's an alumni. Alumni corner. They probably know the answer. All right, what do we got? What's the biggest, baddest predator you heard of?
People.
People. What do you think?
Yeah. Me.
What you think? You personally?
Yep.
What's your name? Blake. Give him a hand. Give him 2 max slaps on 2. 1, 2. Yes, that was like 7. They don't listen either, Coach.
I said
I'm about to get 50K followers.
Maybe.
You could raise your hands.
All right, so yourself is what I got. If you don't believe me, he said you. You said me, right? Maybe we can get a picture of both of you. You. All right. So what's the big difference between predators and prey? Who can answer that?
I have Ricky Bobby.
What's the biggest difference between predators and prey? Who can answer that? What you got? A predator does what? Takes what's theirs. Okay. Anybody else got a? Give me some examples of predators. You said you was the biggest, baddest one. You're right.
Natural selection. I mean, what?
Damn, he's hurt. So lions and tigers and bears are all predators, right?
Oh my.
They're hunters. They're focused. Their eyes are in the front. If you look in the mirror, where's your eyes at? In the front. So that's why you're the biggest, baddest predator in the world. Some of you may not think that, but hopefully we can help you get there. Now, what about prey? What's something common that they have? You know, they're hunted, so the predators are going to eat them. Yeah, but so what we found out is chipmunks and squirrels and things like that that are prey have eyes on the side. So eyes on the front like to hunt, eyes on the side like to hide, run and hide. Now we want to talk about a couple of lessons that we use with our clients, the predator versus prey mentality and how it will help you. What are some prey thoughts you as a wrestler would use before a match? Prey thoughts. So this side of the room, talk for 10 seconds about some prey thoughts you've had before a match. This side of the room, think about some predator thoughts you've had before a match. Come back and almost a couple good answers, all right? 10 seconds. Prey versus predator. Prey thoughts versus predator thoughts. Go. Go. Am I rolling? No, don't do that. Go beat that. That guy always beats that guy.
Couldn't be that guy, Trevor, but I was that guy.
All right, about 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back. So let's go one prey thought from this side of the room. What we got? What you got? I'm going to lose. I would absolutely say that is a prey thought, no doubt. Let's combat that. What you got? What's the opposite of that? I'm going to win. That's pretty easy. Predator thought for you. What's something else that you've had before match? Predator side. I'm going to kill this man. Hopefully not literally, but thinking about your moves. You hit him with an ankle pick. I like to hear that. All right. Anything else? Good. Well, I was going to bring that up. Is that a predator or a prey thought? Knowing what your rank, knowing the rankings. That's a prey thought, man.
You shouldn't be worried about that.
Shouldn't be worried about that. That's exactly right. We want to get you in a place where you're thinking about the things that you can control. Okay? So, what are those things? What are something we can control in a wrestling match? What you do? All right? So, elaborate a little bit. My mindset. Anybody else?
Like if you got like a bad first night, come out and make adjustments.
Making some adjustments on the fly. Here's the 3 things that we talk about that you can control. You ready? You got to remember this. Your attitude. All right? Are you coming out with a good attitude or a crappy attitude? Are you rebounding from a loss, or are you thinking about things that are not relevant anymore because they're in the past? That's having a good attitude. All right? Our effort. Can we control our effort? Yes or no? Yeah, you can control your effort. If you start having those prey thoughts about the guy's ranked higher than me, or last time we wrestled he pinned me. I don't know. We're still in the past. We got to be in the present moment. So we got to get those prey thoughts out. And the last thing that we can control is our energy level. Believe it or not, right? I heard something not too long ago. If you want to change the way you feel, you need to change the way you move. All right. So if you're moving around with your head down, you're going to be in a bad spot. So change the way you move. Start feeling bad, recognize it. Start moving around. Get warmed up. Start getting ready for that match. And that'll kind of alleviate some of that prey mentality. Okay? Attitude, effort, aggressiveness. You can control those 3 things. If you remember that, that's all you're worried about, you're going to be much more likely to have some success. Coach, you agree with that?
I do.
You talk about that.
Yes.
All right? So another question we always ask is, what % of wrestling will be mental? So I want you to think about a number now. You know the physical aspect. Coach is going to train you today through some physical things. We get in the weight room, right, to get stronger. We do our drills. So what are we going to do mentally? What % of the sport is mental? Who's got an answer? What do you think? 95%. That's high. That could be right though. I don't know. 80%. Anybody got something lower? 50%. Is anybody lower than 50%? Yeah, pretty much the standard answer we always get is 50% or higher. So if it's that important, then what are we doing? What are we doing? How are we training our brain? We know what we're doing to get our legs stronger. We know what we're doing to get our wrestling skills better. But what are we doing to train our brain? And studies have proven that about 5 minutes a day working on the things that we have created to work on are going to help you. Again, in school, in life, and in wrestling. So the mentality starts to change a little bit. We get the prey thoughts out. We get the predator thoughts in. Now we're replacing our thought processes. And then we're working on things that we can control. So everybody's tracking right now. All right? I got a little picture here. It's a great model of a prey versus a predator. Everybody knows who Michael Phelps is. Probably the most decorated Olympian ever to live. Where is he looking at? The end, and it's very close. And this dude right here, I don't know his name because he was second place, but he was winning the whole meet. And here comes the shark in the tank, man. He smelled the blood in the water. He didn't see this guy look at him because what was he worried about? Finishing. He was worried about what he could control, going as hard as he could go. His attitude, his effort, his aggressiveness. And this guy was worried about who? Michael Phelps. And what happened? Yeah, Michael Phelps won. That guy lost. And it came down to, I don't know, 0.0000000 at the very far end of that. I don't know how far that goes, but Michael Phelps hit the wall so hard, the force, it's pretty much a tie, the force, him jamming the wall, actually got him to get that win. Okay, and I think it was for another gold medal. So, and it says simply, winners focus on what? Winning. Yeah, what's ahead of you? And then losers focus on what? Winners. Here's some other prey thoughts you may have, like, how many people got Snapchat in here? All right, this is a personal question. Think about the answer because I really don't want to know. Is anybody over 500,000 on that?
I got like 9,000.
9,000? That's pretty low for young kids these days. 12,000 school. I know guys with like almost 1 million. So does that mean they sent 1 million Snapchats?
Yeah.
Or received?
Sent to receive.
Sent and received. So you're looking at what, 500,000 apiece? That's a lot of time. And just think about that time that you could put into your mind or your body or your sport or another passion that you're losing because you're in Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or whatever you got. There's so many distractions in today's society, man. So many. But if we can get you focused and going in the right direction, then the one thing about the human predator, because we all agree that we're predators, right? I hope. Is they're unstoppable once they have their mind set on something. Right, Coach?
That's right.
Question so far. I'm not going to take much more of your time. Basically, we sent the computer around earlier, and you signed up for a free trial. One of our mindset coaches come in and call you and go through a lesson with you. That's free. And hopefully we get to work with you as a client. We have several coaches out there. A lot of them are big time wrestling guys, and you'd be getting some knowledge that you wouldn't get. Coach Stewart's got a huge program. He's got great coaches, but he will agree because I've talked to him about it. It's hard to get inside everyone's head. And coaching is kind of, a psychological game. We have to know what buttons to push. And when he's got a group this big, he's not going to be able to talk to everybody. So it's kind of like a personal coach or one-on-one coach. We also do teams. One thing that we can offer is come in and Skype. Of course, I live pretty close, so I will be able to come in and work through the lessons with you. So we have these worksheets we go through and basically train your brain. There's like 7 lessons we have. I talked about predator and prey. Another great one's reset button. When you screw up in a match, the dude scores on you first. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the score? Are you thinking about getting scored on first? Well, sometimes, what if the referee screwed you? What if he made a bad call and you lost the match? How long are you thinking about that? What a man thinks, a man becomes. There's a great quote. So if you think about bad things all the time, it's going to be bad. But if you think about good things and how you can focus your attention on things, that's what you're going to get. So if we're thinking about the bad call, probably another bad call going to hit you. Because that's what your mind's on. It's so crazy, the human mind, and how powerful it is. And I think we got to figure it out. We've got not only wrestling, it's grown to baseball, volleyball, football. So if you're another sport, there's all kinds of coaches for you. But we did grow it with wrestling. And our owners, Gene and Jeff Zanetti, wrestled at Penn. So they're Ivy League guys. They've been really hustling probably the last 10 years to get wrestling mindset where it is. And now it's ready to take over. So hopefully maybe one day you can join us and at least get the free trial and figure out a little bit more about it. But reset button's another thing that we talk about. So in a match, let's say the referee did make that bad call, but it's not over yet. How do we get back in the present moment? What's something that y'all have done before? Yes, sir.
Breathe. Take
Breathing.
breaths.
That's great, man. When in doubt, breathe it out. Because when you don't breathe anymore, what happens? You die. So breathing is important. I read something the other day about the Navy SEALs. One way they get through it is a 6-2-6 breathing method. So they inhale for 6, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Wrestling, hey, what's harder, wrestling or being a Navy SEAL? Probably being a Navy SEAL. They're pretty tough dudes, but their environment's a little bit different. They're in the water, they're wet, they're cold. So maybe you can't do the 6-2-6. Maybe you can do a 3-1-3. But at least you're focused on your breathing and getting back into the present moment instead of thinking about that back call. So that's a great answer. Any other things you do? Reset button. When I used to play baseball, and if I would make a mistake, my coach would tell me to flush it. So you can use some positive self-talk, like, I got this, it's going to be okay. Or you can do some physical things, like, that people can see. Maybe you slap yourself in the face. I just saw this dude do it. So he slaps himself in the face. Maybe you slap your leg. I don't know. We kind of help you develop your own reset button for when times are bad. So that's another great lesson that we talked about at Wrestling Mindset. I want to open up the floor for any questions, because I know you guys are eager to get to practice, right?
Yes.
Give me something. I got to have 2 questions before I leave. Have I wrestled? Yes, I have wrestled. At Smithfield Summer High School, right before this guy came in. I wish Coach Stewart would have been my coach, because I probably would have been a little bit better than I was. He's been shaping minds for a long time. Anything else? Anything about the company itself? Can I have one more?
Did Wrestling Mindset originate? Did that from the sport of wrestling and then branch out?
Right.
So wrestling was the office.
Wrestling was the bread and butter, man. It kind of, Gene and Jeff, they do what we call club runs. It's basically what I'm doing right now is a club run. Come in, talk about the product, talk about the service we offer, not the product. We're not offering our product, we're offering the service. One-on-one coaching or team coaching. And they hustled, man. They just hustled. Went all over the East Coast, and now it's going West Coast, and we're worldwide. We've just purchased a big list of every coach in the country, so you'll be getting more emails than you get already, right? So that's a great question. But now, again, we're branching to other sports. So if you know any other baseball people or basketball people or anybody that's a head case, right? If you know any head cases, or maybe you're a head case, it's something to look into. If you can't get over something and you think about it 10, 15, 20 minutes and you just get so heated up, you need to give us a call, because we can help you with that. Get you ready to go in the present moment, okay? So I guess the last thing I'll ask, who's the biggest predator in the room? Yourself. I wish everybody would say, raise your hand on that. And then finally, remember the importance of a reset button, okay? When you get in trouble, breathing's great. Positive self-talk. How many people have got that voice in their head? Everybody should raise their hand. I mean, whose voice is it? It is typically yours, but it could be your parents. When you're in that negative state, it could be your parents' voice you're hearing. Don't do that. But most of us have our own voice in our head, and we're going to listen to it one way or another. If we listen to it, it all comes down to one thing, really. Is it going to help us or is it going to hurt us? And our brain processes that information, and it does not want you to do what's against what it thinks is going to hurt you. But most of the time, I tell my guys all the time, there's more in the tank. When you're tired, when you're wore out, what do? How do you get through that? Are you thinking, man, I'll be glad when practice is over? Or are you thinking, I got a little bit more in the tank. I got a little bit more to give. Because everybody's got a little bit more in the tank, and it's across the world. Every human has got a little more in the tank, more than they think they got. And they can keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing until finally they win, or the other person dies, right? Because you're a predator and you're going to eat the competition. I appreciate your time. I'm going to stick around for practice, man. Hopefully you get a good sweat. Coach teach me something.
Big hand, Coach.
Appreciate it.